Grandmaster Terran player from Korea. So it's going to be a really fun match, ZVT, and looking forward.
Yeah, and EC, people might not know what that signifies. It stands for Eclipsia, I think.
Yep.
That's the annotation they decided to go for as I adjust the overlay so that it looks... Oh, well, I guess the races are switched up, so we won't be able to use the supply tab. But I'm going to adjust the colors so that they better reflect the players as you introduce them.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and introduce the players spawning in the upper left position here of MLG Antigua Shipyard. We do have former Rain artist, now part of the European-based team, EC.Artist. He's going to be the Teal Terran. And towards the right side of the map, the bottom right to be specific, we do have the Zerg opponent, Blue Zerg. You have Quantic.Destiny. And again, we were mentioning a little bit about each other's playstyle. Artist style, not really too familiar with it. Although Destiny, obviously everyone knows this guy loves infestors. Very heavy upgraded lings as well. So I'm really curious to see exactly what Artist is going to be able to do against the composition Destiny goes for.
Yeah, it should be very interesting. Obviously, to start making predictions about what these players are going to do is pretty darn impossible at this point in time, but we can point out key map features and then predict from there. We have a very easy to take natural expansion, which lends itself well towards fast expand type builds. There's a watchtower in the very middle of the map of Antigua Shipyard. There are regular minerals here, not gold minerals. So I think one of the most important spots of this map is this watchtower. And I also think that if the Terran can hold this, it's very hard for the Zerg player to take a fourth and pretty much do counterattacks and maneuver in any way, shape, or form. So if I were Artist, if I were a Terran player on this map, I would be extremely cautious of that and use that to my advantage. Just work on keeping my opponent limited to 3 bases and not let him get his fourth while I get 3 bases of my own. And it's extremely easy to get 3 bases on this map and then to go from there.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Some players also like to go for a 2-base pressure. And just as you said, follow it back with a third. Go ahead and just give themselves much more of an advantage going into the mid to late game. But let's go ahead and look at the openings from each player's. Artist looks like he is going to open up with a Rax. No kind of gases coming up for Artist, so maybe going to go for a 1 Rax expand possibly. We do see the first Marine also going to make its way here. And the Drone Scout from Destiny does find out exactly where Artist is. Well, obviously these are cross positions, spawning positions, so he knows where his opponent is. And if we look back at Destiny's base, looks like he did go hatch first, I believe. And also following up with the pool. So very common openings thus far from our players.
Now, it's pretty funny. These guys actually have a little bit of history. I don't know how I just remember this, but it was MLG Orlando this past year. It was winner's bracket. It was either winner's bracket or loser bracket. But Destiny played against Artist. It was a best of 3, and Destiny bringing out 5 drones. He thinks there's a proxy, so he must not have counted the SCVs. This is not a proxy T-Rax, but that gets to my point. The map was Taldrum Altar, and Destiny scouted across the sides of the map, and Artist went and put 2 barracks in the middle of the map, and then attacked Destiny with proxy, like it was 11-11 racks or something, and Destiny died promptly after that. And the funny thing is, before that game happened, he played Artist 3 times on the ladder, he told me, and Artist played macro games in all 3 of them. So that goes to show that it's very important not to assume anything, and just to be prepared for everything. Because, to a certain point, it's StarCraft 2, you're trying to advance to the next round, there's money on the line, you're going to do anything you can to win. So I do expect Destiny to be extremely mindful of his scouting, and we saw that there. He pulled 5 drones just to be absolutely safe, not to die to any sort of 2-Rax play. However, it was a little foolish considering his opponent had already put down his expansion as natural.
Oh yeah, and with the type of play Destiny does, he doesn't want to be playing up against any kind of 2-Rax. I mean, he religiously tries to figure out every kind of angle to be able to stop any kind of pressure like that from Terran players. But Artist, gonna establish his expansion, dropping a few mules right now. Excuse me. We also see a barracks being added with a reactor factory on the way, as well as a second factory. So this sort of signifies that he might be going for a lot of Hellions early on in this match. And Destiny, playing this really, really safe. Gonna go ahead and get a spine crawler up for defense at the natural. Even gonna start to wall off a little bit of that area with the evolution chamber. And so far, drones in production, 2 factories almost completed here for Artist, and there we see the 2 initial Hellions coming out for the Terran player.
Yep, and the tech lab being built on the barracks, which will be lended to that factory, and then Blue Flame will be started right away. So Artist here, he's going to go for a lot of early blue flame hellions, and Destiny has to scout this. What has he seen so far? Pretty much nothing but what his drone saw earlier on in the game. So Destiny needs to find a way to scout out his opponent's main base so he can see that these blue flame hellions are coming, because if we talk about the style of Destiny, it has been League Infestor getting those 2 early evolution chambers, starting the quick upgrades. Probably will start the melee attacks level 1 pretty soon here, but Zerglings against blue flame hellions, that's probably one of the worst things you can do unless you decide to pull your drones for some reason to try to kill hellions in the middle of the map. That's the second worst thing you can do. But the fact of the matter is, he needs to get roaches out once he sees these blue flame hellions. If not, he has to have like a phenomenal micro, phenomenal building placement to negate the effectiveness of these blue flame hellions.
Yeah, man, and a little bit of a mistake from Destiny. He wasn't able to scout, but the few hellions are going to make their way here to the natural. Going to get denied by the Queen as well as a spine crawler. But you know, if you look at Destiny's vision specifically, he has no idea there's an expansion
He
there.
even saw the tech lab on the barracks, and he didn't see any of the factories. He only saw 2 racks, didn't see any factories. So I feel like these blue flame hellions are going to take him completely off guard.
Yeah, and the thing is, Destiny does have a significant harvester advantage, 51 drones to 38. So he was using all that time to give them to give the Lings map control, was just investing all those resources into drones. So he has a significant advantage in that regard. But the thing is, there are 4 blue flame hellions outside the natural of Destiny, and if you look at the base of Artist, following it up with a very quick third. And you know, this sort of goes back to what you were saying, putting a little bit of pressure onto your Zerg opponent, pulling back, expanding to a third, and we see a bunch of hellions making their way into the natural. Destiny only with Lings right now, and these hellions are going, whoa, absolutely ripping through the Zerglings. Spinecrawler even get lifted, 8 Lings in production, but the problem here is these hellions have no hard counter, which would be the roaches, and Destiny seems to be in a lot of trouble right now.
Destiny desperately trying to throw up a Sim City, just trying to keep the hellions away from his economy, throwing up buildings absolutely everywhere to try to prevent the hellions from get by. Has done a decent job at that. The hellions are forced to try to take down this roach warren, and that's actually a building that Destiny does not want to lose, which is why he's built 3 roach warren. He has 3 roach warrens on the field to try to keep these hellions from coming in. The Lings going to try to go for some sort of flank to keep the hellions from getting inside of his natural expansion. Destiny reacting incredibly well to this, but these roach warrens going to be so late. Is it going to be enough canceling everything and getting his third? I'm still a little scared though. It's still a lot of blue flame hellions there.
Yeah, man, a lot of hellions. In fact, there's 11 hellions in the natural still making their way. Banelings are finally going to join the battle here for Destiny. Going to be able to eliminate about 4 to 5 of those hellions. But the thing behind this, we see the third already completed for Artist. All he has to do is float it up. The third is now finally going to get established for Destiny. 45 drones to 50. So now Artist gives himself the lead in the harvester count. Stim is completed. So there might be another following timing push, adding additional raxes, getting his double engineering bays as well. So Artist looking extremely solid thus far in the opening of this match.
Wow, I can't understate how well Destiny did in holding that. He only lost 3 workers. Think about that for a second. When you don't scout blue flame hellions, and the first thing you see of them are like 12 of them approaching your natural expansion, and you lose only 3 drones, it's great play. But you said it, man. Like, Artist, he's transitioning behind this, so even though that was a great hold from Destiny, it still came down to the fact that he didn't scout the blue flame hellions in the first place, and he should have been prepared anyway for them. So Artist's going to transition out of this, and the good news for Destiny here is that he's not dead, but he still has a decent amount of work to do. He's down in supply, 92 to 86. His opponent is approaching 3 bases. Destiny just now getting his 3rd base up and saturated. It's not even close to saturated, and he's going up to hive, so really going to focus on those upgrades for those Zerglings right now, which I don't know about that decision, because there's still so many blue flame hellions on the field. At what point do you go for more of a roach composition? That being said, though, he is getting utilized carapace at overload speed, and he is getting drop.
He is.
Did he get it already?
I think he might have gotten it.
Let me look at the... No, he hasn't gotten the drop just yet, but he is getting some roaches on the field, so
yeah.
We'll have to see what he does here. A good way to combat against this mech style play from his opponent, I guess it's kind of mixed mech bio, but this like mass hellion play is to drop in the main. Actually, there's a lot of barracks there, so he's going straight into bio. This is an interesting transition here from Artist, but we'll have to see what Destiny does. Obviously, he's going to have to scout a lot, and he is getting burrow, and 5 infestors are on the way, so we're going to see some fun infestor play coming up pretty soon here.
Yeah, I completely agree. So there are 5 infestors right now in production for Destiny. Destiny not really behind in units count. If you notice, he's actually relatively even with Artist. But the thing I like about Artist is he's controlling the watchtowers with all of these Hellions. If he sees any kind of counterattack from Destiny with the Roaches, with the Heavyling Infestor, he will be able to react. Also getting a few siege tanks on the map. I believe right now he's up to 3 tanks, 28 Marines. So he will be able to be a little bit safe against this Infestor play. But man, Destiny gonna start to break down these rocks, preparing to take a 4th expansion. And right now, 72 Harvesters for Destiny. Very, very healthy drone count thus far in this match. And so far, man, I'm really curious to see how Artist is going to play this. Is he going to continue to turtle back, wait for Destiny to be the aggressor? Or is he going to go ahead and push forward with siege tanks? And the Hellions, oh my god, I didn't even catch that, sorry. Infestors, excuse me, the Lings and the Roaches, a few Infestors as well. Take out all these Hellions. And Destiny's slowly getting his way back in this game. He's definitely not out of it by whatsoever.
Alright, so Artist looks like he wants to push here. Has to be careful not to get his Marines fungled, because a couple fungals and he could lose his entire army very, very quickly, considering it's majority bio. We'll have to see how Destiny positions his units, his minerals, his resources aren't like impressive at all right now. He's starving a little bit, and Artist is slowly pushing forward with his tanks and Marines. Destiny engaging with a few of his links. Oh, doesn't want to peel away much of his army. Wants to engage with all of his army at the exact same time. Looks like some fungals going down on some of those Marines. I was checking on the reinforcements. It's like more Marines and more tanks making their way across the map to help reinforce this army from Artist, but Destiny, it's gonna be tough. He has a decent amount of infestors, decent amount of leans here, but as long as Artist keeps his stuff split and his tanks just leapfrogging him forward, he might be okay.
Yeah, you're completely right. It's going to all come down to positioning for the units of both of our players. It looks like Artist has a really nice Marine siege tank spread right outside the natural of Destiny. Destiny trying desperately to get as many units as possible. 20 Banelings are currently in production. He does have a lot of Lings on the map as well. 65 Lings to be exact. 8 Infestors. So it's all going to come down to positioning. Is Destiny going to get the nice fungals he usually does against the Marines? Or is Artist going to come out victorious in the next engagement? 200 supply for Artist, 165 for Destiny. A few Marines going to make their way into the 3rd. They will get denied by the Lings, and it looks like Destiny going to go for it right now, throwing out a lot of infested Terrans. Nice fungals again on the Marine, but just look at the split of Artist, man. His Marines are completely everywhere. It looks like he's going to be able to clean it up. Destiny all the way down to 104 supply. No GG, it's called by Destiny. And Artist takes a quick 1-0 victory, and I have to say, man, Artist played that really, really well.
Yeah, and the map is Daybreak, so if you want to make go ahead and make that. We'll dissect a little bit of that game in the next one, but definitely very interesting play from both of those players. We're gonna go to a quick commercial break. That was game 1 between QXG, or Quantic Gaming's Destiny, and Eclipsia's Artist. Artist currently up 1-0 in this best of 7. Game 2 will be coming up. Don't go anywhere.